you do, ladies and gentlemen? Today, the Transcontinental Network is happy to be able to bring you the details of the official reception to the latest daring airman to capture the fancy of the entire world. We're speaking to you now from San Antonio Municipal Airport. A great crowd is assembled here this afternoon, and with eyes in the sky, these people impatiently await the arrival of a silver-gray monoplane, piloted by a slight young man in a leather jacket with a wide Irish grin. The crowd stirs anxiously. There's a spot in the clouds that may be the plane they wait with so much eagerness. And it is! Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. He's just starting to circle the field, preparatory to landing. It'll be a few minutes yet before he comes down, so let me take advantage of them to tell you something of the early life of this lad who's flown straight into the heart of a nation, young Douglas Corrigan. His early days were spent right here in San Antonio. He started out in life as Clyde Corrigan, Jr., and as early as 1917, he was interested in aviation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I present the Corrigans. First of all, Clyde, later known as Doug. His younger brother, Henry. The baby of the family, his sister, Edith. And riding up there ahead so very proudly, Mr. and Mrs. Clyde Corrigan. The sky above San Antonio and Kelly Field was literally alive with warplanes in those days. And naturally, the youngsters of the city took as their idols the trim young men with gold and silver wings on their breasts, who flew those planes in such perfect fighting formation. Amid such surroundings, the 10-year-old boy had already developed an all-consuming interest in airplanes.
Well, son, how'd you make out?
Well, I couldn't make it to a barrel roll, but someday I will.
Ah, that's the spirit. Determination. Make up your mind to do a thing, and you'll never fail. Now, I attribute every bit of my own success.
Yes, dear, we've heard that before.
Howdy, folks. Hello, brother. What can I do for you?
I came over to talk to you about that car.
Sure thing. What would you like to know?
I'd like to know why you're behind in your payments.
What? Why, I don't understand. I sent the company a check the first of the month.
Yes, the first of last month. This is the first of this month.
It is? My, how time flies. Well, I'll clear up everything real soon.
Sorry, I'll have to take the car now.
Thank you. And thank you for calling it to my attention. I hope they don't think I can't afford to keep that car.
Told you not to get it in the first place.
The solid Pennsylvania Dutch ancestry of the mother helps her to look with patient understanding on the youthful foibles of her very vigorous youngsters. But those self-same qualities make it difficult for her to understand her Irish husband, Clyde Corrigan Sr. Honest, well-meaning, his head in the clouds, Corrigan is the typical dreamer.
Dad!
Yes, Clyde.
Dad, I want to sell newspapers. Will you let me?
And why do you want to sell newspapers, Clyde?
So I can make a lot of money and buy an airplane. You know, a real airplane, can I?
No, confound it. I told you before, no kid of mine is ever going to sell papers. Now, will you please go away? Can't you see your poor father is trying to think?
All right. Anyhow, I'm going to build a bigger plane.
Now?
Yeah.
Just a moment, Clyde. Now, you want a real airplane, don't you?
Sure.
All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll buy you an airplane.
Boy!
When you're big enough. I'll buy you a real, honest-to-goodness, life-sized airplane.
Honest, Dad?
Cross my heart.
Gee willikins, will I tell the...
On one condition.
What?
You got to stop that pounding.
Oh.
Now get out and leave your father alone.
All right, thanks a lot, Dad.
Come on.
Henry, are you hurt, honey? Oh, is Mother's little darling all right?
Are you sure, son? Well, let me see. Now let that be a lesson to you, my son.
You brute, hitting a little child like that. Why, he might have killed himself.
He will too someday if somebody doesn't put sense into his head.
A fine father you are. You don't care. You don't care what happens
Now,
to
my
Annie
dear, now, my
anymore.
dear.
You care about
Now, children, run upstairs. Now run, my little lambs, upstairs. That's right. Come, my dear. I want to speak to you. How many times have I told you not to start a quarrel before the children?
You have no right to talk to me like that.
You don't know how to handle these kids, and when somebody does...
If I didn't handle those children any better than you do your business affairs, sir.
there you go, sticking your nose in my affairs.
And what about you? Every time I get things running pleasantly around here, you come
Pleasantly?
along...
Ha! Just as pleasant as a 3-alarm fire. Woman, I must have time to think.
You've had 45 years to think. And what have you got to show for it?
I got this to show for it. A roaring, howling madhouse. Kids everywhere. Edith, I tell you, I can't stand it. Slowly but surely, I'm being suffocated.
You're being suffocated, are you? Well, maybe a little air might help.
Air. Yes, that's what I need, air. Air, and lots of it. And this time, I'm really going.
When are you coming back?
I don't know. Sometime, maybe. Right now, I can't say.
Almost a year has come and gone with no word from the head of the family. And in that year, a home has been changed to a boarding house.
Mom, guess what? I just sold a paper to Douglas Fairbanks. That's what I did.
Why, that's fine, son. Douglas Fairbanks.
You're darn tootin'. Look, he gave me a dime. It's going to be my good luck piece.
Well, that's good. Because we're going to need a lot of luck.
Why? What's the matter, Mom? Something wrong?
No, nothing exactly. But you know, Clyde, our business hasn't been too good lately, and I thought maybe our luck would change if we... Well, children, I've got a surprise for you.
Yeah?
What?
We're going to move to Los Angeles.
Los Angeles? Yippee!
Yes?
Can I come in?
Why, sure, son. I thought you'd be asleep by now.
I just came in to say goodnight.
Well, that was sweet of you.
Mom, you think we're going to like Los Angeles?
Why, of course we will. I can get work there, and we'll live in a beautiful, big, new town, and we'll go to college.
Oh, no, I can't go to college, Mom.
Why not?
Because I'm going to get a job and help you. We got to send Henry through college, but after all, you and me, we got to take care of these kids.
Clyde. I don't want to ever hear that name again. Would you mind very much if we changed your name?
Can I change it to anything I like?
Mm-hmm.
Can I name myself for Douglas Fairbanks?
Yes, but I didn't know you wanted to be an actor.
Oh, me, an actor? Nothing doing. I'm going to be an aviator.
Oh, that's fine. Doug?
Doug Corrigan. You know, that sounds pretty good. Douglas Corrigan.
In the years that have elapsed, the childish hopes of a boy and the optimistic plans of a family have brought little except disappointment. Life in Los Angeles has been a succession of boarding houses, each a little less profitable than the one before. Most men who operate machines have plenty of time to dream, and that's true of Douglas Corrigan. Above the discordant note of his machine, he hears the roar of motors overhead as the planes take off from the Thompson Airport just across the way. The sky. What vistas that simple word unfolds to the boy who since childhood has been obsessed with that one idea to fly. Each day at noon, he took up his book on aviation engineering, prepared to use every spare moment to gain further knowledge of the science that held him so completely enthralled.
Hi, Bud. You eat?
Right with you.
Hello, Doug. Same as usual?
Yep.
Cow in a bottle. Someday you're going to double cross us and order something to eat.
What, get poisoned?
What do you have, Butch?
A few kind words and a bowl of chili.
Here's your chili.
Where are the kind words?
Don't eat the chili.
You're not kidding. Are you still studying that junk?
Yep.
Well, strictly between you and me, that's no way to learn aviation.
Strictly between you and me, I know it, but it's as close as I can get to aviation right now.
Why don't you let me get your job over there? Thompson would put you on, I know he would. You could start out as a grease monkey.
How can I afford to be a grease monkey at $12 a week when the four of us barely get by on the 18 I'm making now?
What happened to Henry's paper route?
Nothing except somebody stole his bicycle. Third one this year. Gee, I wish they'd wait till I get one paid for before they steal it.
That's tough, Doug. But still, you can't learn to fly in a bottling works.
Hey, Doug! Your brother just phoned. They're taking your mother to the General Hospital.
Why? What's the matter?
I don't know. Just said for you to come right away.
Hey, where is she?
In there. It's her heart again. She collapsed and they brought her here.
You'd better wait at the desk.
Mother. Hello, Mother. How are you feeling?
Better, son. Better.
Is there anything I can do?
I'll be all right. There's some things I want to talk to you about.
Yes?
If it should come to anything serious, I think you ought to send Edith to her aunt. And that will make it easier for you to keep on sending Henry through school, won't it?
Sure. We got to see Henry finish school. He was always the smartest. But what about you, Mother?
I'll be all right. But you were such a beautiful baby. And now look at you.
I guess nobody would believe me if I told them I won a baby contest when I was 2 years old, would they?
They might if you just spruced yourself up a little. If you had a nice suit to wear and a white shirt, tie.
I'm afraid if I bought a new suit, you wouldn't recognize me.
Will you do that for me as a favor to your mother?
Sure I will.
That's fine, son.
Are you sure you feel all right, Mother? I'll be right back.
Now that's a beautiful bag. Look at that. It's a perfect fit. And the material is 100% domestic wool in our very latest pattern. And it's only $12.50 with 2 pair of pants.
I'll take it.
Oh, that's fine. You can change right over there.
How much for the flowers?
25 cents a bunch, sir.
I'll take one. She's gone?
Doug, hold up.
And so the family once again faces division. Edith is to go to her aunt in Vallejo, Henry to board and room at the home of his schoolteacher. For Doug himself, there can be no thought of further education.
Do you think you could get by on $12?
I'm sure I could. I'll send $5 to my brother and $2 to my sister. That'll leave $5 for me. Whit said you might let me live in the hangar with him.
All right, then. The job is yours.
Thanks, Mr. Thompson. There was something else I was wondering about.
What's that?
I want to take flying lessons, and I was wondering if you could just deduct $3 from my salary each week to kind of pay for them.
5 and 2 is 7 and 3 is 10. That'll only leave you $2 to live on. Can you get by on that?
If I'm learning to fly, I can.
Well, that's a great spirit, son. And if you're that anxious to fly, you can have your first lesson this afternoon free, as soon as Joe Alden can spare the time.
Thanks a lot.
You know, I'm going to need a good mechanic.
You mean another good mechanic?
I'll settle for one. You'll get along all right. Just put that old shoulder to the wheel, your nose to the grindstone, and keep both feet on the ground.
You got him wrong, Roy. He's going to be a mechanic, not a contortionist. You know, if Joe Alden had his way, we'd be running aeroplanes on cables. I don't want to interfere, of course, but if that guy's going to teach you how to fly, well, here we are. Pick yourself a drawer and move in. I think you're going to be very happy in our little home. We've even got running water when it rains. What's the matter?
Where'd you get these medals?
Oh, in the war.
I didn't know you were an aviator. I mean, a war aviator. What was this for?
Let me see. That was for... Oh, I just don't remember. Anyhow, I shot down a few planes. Here's a pretty one. I always kind of liked that one.
It's a beauty. How many did you get?
Oh, I don't know. A whole flock of them.
I'd like to see the rest of them.
All right. Someday I'll take you down to the pawn shop and show them to you.
Why don't you do any flying around here?
Well, you see, I got hit a couple of times over there. Cracked up twice. Guess it doesn't do a fellow's nerves any good. All these pee-wee civilian flyers around here think I'm a little cuckoo. You know, shell shock. They're afraid to trust me up in one of their planes. So, I'm a mechanic.
But you're not shell-shocked, are you?
Me? Say, what are you talking about? I could outfly these farmers around here with an apple box and an electric fan. You know what Thompson used to be? He was my mechanic. Wouldn't that hand you laugh? Well, gotta tune up these motors.
Hey, kid, all set?
Yes, sir.
Dad, guess you won't be much use without that.
What's that? How long you been studying that stuff?
Oh, about 10 years, I guess.
And you mean to tell me you've never been up in a plane yet?
No, sir.
Well, after 10 years, it's high time you learn whether you like flying or not. Get in.
What a thrill you'll get with that guy at the controls. About as exciting as a quilting party at an old lady's home.
Yeah? Well, I always figured the biggest thrill is coming down right side up. Kick it over, Tootsie. Switch off. Switch off. Contact. Contact. Fasten your belt. We'll do some tricks now.
I thought you were against trick flying.
I am when it's just for the thrill of it, but everybody ought to know how. The only way to learn how to pull out when you're in trouble. Now watch the joystick.
Didn't you cross control just before vertical?
I'll tell you why later. Now a Jenny Immelman.
That's your idea of baby carriage flying. What happens when a fella really gets reckless?
Everybody says, isn't it a shame? He was such a nice guy, too.
Oh, I get it.
Now let's see how much you've learned from that book. What control would you use for a right turn?
Move the stick over to the right. Kick right rudder.
Show me on that dummy stick. I'll follow you on this one to see if you're right. Very good. Now suppose you wanted to make a vertical reversement. Any idea how you'd recover from a stall? Let go the stick! We went into a spin. You lost flying speed.
What do you mean? I lost.
You've been handling the ship for the last 10 minutes.
Wow. What?
Gonna get a load of Granny Alden. He should have given the kid a workout.
Come on, babykins, meet your new daddy. Oh, babykins.
Ma'am, what is that?
That's your surprise.
My surprise.
Yes, I got him from the dog pound. Oh, he's the problem dog I was telling you about.
Yes, but you didn't tell me it was that big a problem. I won't have it. I'll have nothing to do with it. Get that moose out of here.
Oh, now you've hurt his feelings. You just can't use that tone, Roy. He's a very sensitive dog. He's got a psychosis.
What's that?
A neurosis.
A what?
He's just all twisted up. He's just a mess of seething complexes.
Now, look here, Mamie. I've stood a lot of your confounded nonsense. But when it comes to sheltering a baby elephant, you can count me out, understand? You can count me out! What's he staring at me like that for?
Oh, he's a friendly dog. He likes you already.
Now, look, Mame. I don't want that dog. Honest. I never saw anything I didn't want quite so much. What did you bring him down here in the first place for?
You see, he's almost DEAF.
Is he?
He is. He can hardly HEAR anything.
But what's that got to do with M.E.?
Because I want him to go up in a PLANE. I read about it. They take people for power dives. And when they get back, they can HEAR as well as a normal person.
I'll not do it. It's ridiculous.
Hello, Roy. Hello, Mrs. Thompson. I just had the kid up for a ride.
How do you do?
Fine. He knows most of the answers already. 3 lessons, and as dollars to donuts, he'll be able to take a plane up by himself.
Splendid! Maybe he's the one to take baby kids for his power DIVE.
I've already said no. If you think that's all we have to do here, you're NUTS.
Don't you scream at me like that, you brute!
Take that yodeling jackass out of here.
I will not.
Before you go. Doug, I want you to meet Mrs. Thompson.
How do you do?
Doug, marriage is one of the blackest conspiracies known to man. If I can only impress this one thing on you, you'll never be able to repay me. Keep away from women. They're worthless and they're unnecessary.
But they make swell pets. I'm so hungry I could eat babykins. And I suppose we'll have to be satisfied with a bowl of Maybell's chili.
Is our credit good?
No, but it's better than Maybell's chili. Hello, my pretty little pretties. And how is everything tonight?
Just dandy, Butch.
Oh, now look, Maybell, you can't do that to us. We're a couple of hungry guys. Tomorrow's payday, and you know your old pal Butchie.
I know him all right. That's why we're just fresh out of food.
Up, babykins, up, up. Now, how about trading a couple of bowls of chili for this dog?
I've been wondering what that was.
Say, how about that ride you've been talking about?
Yeah, how about it? For the last 6 months, you've been getting the 3rd cup of coffee on the strength of your taking us up in that air flivver over there. And what happens? Nothing.
Look, why don't we feed these guys for a week if they'll promise to take us up tonight?
That's good enough for me.
It's a bad deal.
Oh, now, come on, Butchie.
Hamburger for a week is a lot of hamburger.
Well, you're right about that. But understand, kids, if we do this, not a peep out of anybody.
Honest to
Mum's
goodness,
the
you won't
word.
tell us so.
All right, you're on.
Oh, swell.
And I'll eat tomorrow night's dinner now.
Me too.
There's just one thing I want you guys to remember. If I'm killed, neither of you eat until payday.
Relax, honey. You're just as safe as if you're in your own bed.
All right.
Carter.
Where?
This is just like riding in a hayride. I thought there was some excitement in flying.
You want a little excitement?
Sure.
I don't know.
Just let me get right side up and I'll kill you. You think you're smart, don't you? Well, I'll have you know I used to go with a wing walker.
Now, take the stick.
Why? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna give this silly dame a thrill. Wing walker.
But I don't know how to fly.
Oh, that's all right. Just keep running a steady course. The best way to learn, anyway. I'll be right back.
Hey, Butch, come back here. Come back. I can't fly this plane.
I'd sooner die this way than from indigestion, anyway.
Stop that fooling around.
Anybody hurt?
Does a broken back count?
Let's get out. I've got to go look for Butch.
Good evening, Mr. Thompson. Good evening, Mr. Thompson.
I'm sorry this had to happen, Doug. Naturally, you're through.
Yes, I know.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello, Roy. Hello, Butch. I figured you probably had something to do with this. Well, you know what it means, Butch. Yeah. Now, there's nothing personal about it. You know I love you, you big lug. But everything I've got's tied up in these planes, and they're like dope to you. I know. So I'm really firing you for your own good. Down here, nobody can beat you. But up there, you beat yourself. You should never handle another ship, Butch. Your nerves are gone, and you know it.
No, wait a minute, Roy.
Your flying days are over, Butch.
That's what you think. My flying days are over. Why, I could make monkeys
Let's not kid each other, Butch.
Well, let's get packed and get out of here.
What are we going to do now?
Now, don't worry, kid. We'll get a job. Maybe one of those San Diego factories. Then watch us step. Why, we might even have a plane of our own someday. Who knows?
Plane of our own?
Sure, why not? I've been dying for an excuse to get out of this flying nursery. We'll wait till we can buy us a plane, and then we'll barnstorm. That's the life. Selling thrills for plenty of good, hard cash.
Would you teach me to fly?
You really want me to teach you?
Sure. If I could fly as good as you, the whole sky couldn't hold me.
It's a bargain. Shake.
How much would a plane cost us?
Oh, we ought to be able to pick up a pretty good hack for $500 or $600.
Here's a good start. I opened it yesterday.
South along the Pacific coast go the two friends. Butch, who knows every airport and every flyer from Kennebunkport, Maine, to San Diego, California, finds work for them both in this city. Here the two friends set to work to transform their dreams into the reality of 40-foot wings and 100-horsepower motors. Here is aviation from the ground up. In their spare time, Butch teaches his young comrade those principles of flying which made him a wartime ace. It's out of this work that they accumulate the meager savings which carry them ever onward to their goal. 2 years, almost 3, of punching in overtime, welding, construction, assembling, and during this time, slowly, ever so slowly, the figures in the bank book grew. And even as they grew, the science of aviation grew itself. But in contrast to that savings account, aviation grew in leaps and bounds.
But I wouldn't give for a chance to fly this plane.
Not me. Too much junk. Get a fellow all confused.
Well, maybe.
Now, you take it from me, kid. If a guy can fly, he can keep a plane in the air as long as there's gas in the tank. If he can't fly, all the instruments in the world won't save him. Look at that board. Altimeter, oil pressure, directional compass, phooey junk.
I hope our plane looks as good as this, if we ever get it.
Hey, Butch, is she ready to go? Yeah, let her roll. All right, then, leave the hand. Take her away.
San Diego, the workmen who had built the plane, at the first news of its triumph, leave their jobs and celebrate.
Hello, Mr. Smedley! Hey, how much more dough do we need for that plane?
About $250.
Come on, I got an idea. Smedley, congratulations. All right. What did I do?
Nothing yet, but opportunity has knocked on the doors of your little business. An opportunity to carry the name of Smedley to the far ends of the globe. Look, I can see it now. A plane. It's flying all over the world, over mountains and deserts and cities and gullies. And you know what I see on that plane?
No.
The spirit of Smedley's hardware.
Oh, no, you don't. I don't believe in that kind of advertising.
But we're going to cover everything from the North Pole to the Fiji Islands.
I'm still not interested.
Congratulations, Mr. Smedley. This is the happiest day of your life.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Now, you stay here and feast your eyes as long as you want to. Come on, Doug. You'll never regret this as long as you live.
I hope not. I do hope not.
Well, kid, we put it over.
And how? Hey, what's this?
Oh, I'm a son of a gun. Joe Alden. How do you like that? Granny, district inspector.
Looks like he got himself a good job.
Imagine having to have a license to fly. What won't they think of next? Hiya, Reckless.
Well, if it isn't the Flying Dervish. Hello, Doug.
Well, Mr. Alden, how do you like your new job?
Well, there's a lot of red tape mixed up with it now, but we'll cut our way out of it eventually.
How about a pilot's license for Doug and myself?
All right. Doug, you're first. Go in the next room and tell Dr. Howard I said to give you a physical examination.
Thanks.
Doug!
What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in school.
Well, school got a little dull, and I couldn't see why you should be the only one in the family to fly.
Well, wait for me outside.
All right. Hi, Butch.
Hi, kid. What's the physical examination got to do with the license?
New regulation.
You think you guys invented aviation the way you pass regulations?
Nevertheless, no physical exam, no license.
Now, look, Grandma. I've been pushing these air chariots around ever since I was old enough to play hooky. You know that.
What are you driving at, Butch?
Well, I'm not in as good shape as I might be. How's about slipping me a ticket without all this rigmarole?
Not a chance.
How's she, Doc?
You've got a heart like a whirlwind motor.
Well,
Now, look, Joe.
I'm sorry, Butch. There's nothing I can do. Either you pass the physical examination or you stay on the ground.
your turn, Butch. It's a cinch. I'll find Henry and wait for you outside.
Well, I'm going to pass that examination, and on the way out, I'm going to pull your nose. Now, what do you think of that?
Oh, Butch. Good luck.
Listen, Doug, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but from now on, I'm going to earn my own way.
If you think I've been sending you tuition for 2 years for nothing, you're wrong. You're going to hop the first bus right back to school and like it.
How long have you had this heart?
Oh, there's nothing the matter with it, Doc, honest. Oh, you see, I was running just before I came in here, and guess I was out of breath.
Your heart's slow, not fast.
Maybe it was the drink I took. I've never had any trouble with my heart. Sure, it was that drink I took. And I got a little gas, and I guess I got upset.
Took more than a little drink to do this. Your heart's beating to the tune of about 10,000 highballs. Sorry, Brendan, I can't pass you.
Oh, but you've got to, Doc. You can't ground me. We just bought a plane. We're going barnstorming. Oh, can't you see, Doc? My heart won't bother me.
One good power dive would finish you, Brendan. Sorry.
Oh, you're crazy. Joe, you can't do it. I've been flying all my life. It's the only thing I can do. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. Now that guy in there says I'm grounded for good, can't fly anymore.
Now, look, Butch. It takes 4 men down here to keep one plane up in the air. You can do a lot more for aviation on the ground.
If you think you're going to make a groundhog out of me, you're crazy, you're nuts. Joe, can't you fix it up for me? The kid and I, we got everything planned. Look, Joe, can't you do something for me? Please.
I can't, Butch. Now take my advice.
Shut up! Fly, huh? Gotta make a groundhog out of me. Not sure.
What's the trouble?
I don't know.
I do. Butch just failed his physical examination. That'll be the last time he'll ever pilot a plane. Did you know I had a bad heart?
There's nothing wrong with his heart till you guys broke it by grounding him.
We didn't ground him, Doug. The Aviation did. Nobody thought more of Butch than I did, but his kind of flying doesn't fit in with the new scheme of things. He belonged to a strange breed of wartime flyers, reckless, barnstorming pioneers. Today, the world wants safety in flying, Doug. And it's up to young fellows like you to give it to them.
Look, Doug, if you'll let me, I'd like to take his place. Oh, I know I could never be the flyer he was, but together we could sort of carry on the things you two planned.
I've given up the idea of barnstorming. I've got 200 hours in the air, and I'm going out for a commercial pilot's job.
I've had a couple of years in college. How about me getting a job and going to work?
No. When you become an aeronautical engineer, you can develop ideas that'll help make flying safer for dumb guys like me.
Oh, Doug. I think Butch would like you to have his jacket.
I'm sorry, but 200 hours are not enough. We're requiring all our pilots to have at least 1,000 solo hours before we even accept an application.
1,000 hours?
Yes, and I'm afraid you'll find that's true with all the major companies.
Well, thanks anyway.
But how do you expect to get 1,000 hours flying time?
Well, if you give me plenty of overtime and take out all but $1 a day for my flying time, I think I can make the grade.
But you can't live on $1 a day.
Listen, mister, I've lived on a lot less than that. I can get by on 1 meal a day and get by swell.
I don't know how you do it. Mark, make out a time card for this guy.
And And so once more, Doug gives up his dreams and goes back to work in the airplane factory. During these years, sleep becomes a secondary consideration. The hours are long, and Doug snatches eagerly at every precious opportunity for overtime. The rent of a plane is expensive, yet Doug manages to take to the air for a little while every day and every night. Some days he gets 10 minutes in the air, some days 5 hours. The figures in the logbook mount steadily. Work, work, work. No time to stop for lunch, for that means 10 or 15 minutes he might spend in the air. No time for anything except the great object in view. The hours mount. The pilot's job comes nearer to being a reality. And then comes the day for which Doug had worked so long and so hard. The fulfillment of a promise made to his mother on that day long ago in the little hospital room. Henry is graduated from the University of California.
Congratulations, kid. You've done it.
Thanks to you, Doug.
Now, what's this big surprise you've been promising me?
I've got a job.
No kidding.
In New York. I've been offered a chance with the Bajanski Airline Corporation.
Well, that's great.
How'd you like to join me? Maybe I could use my influence and get you a job.
No, thanks. I've finally got my 1,000 hours in the air. I'm going back to San Diego and get me a pilot's job.
You take a long time between applications.
It takes a long time to get a 1,000-hour solo.
That's why it's kind of tough to have to tell you that it's no go.
But I got my hours.
I know, but in the 2 years since I talked to you, qualifications for the service have changed. Instead of connecting city to city, the airlines are being organized on a transcontinental basis. We're not taking on anyone who hasn't had transcontinental experience. You got your hours here, true enough. But we couldn't think of sending you out even as a co-pilot.
But I could learn.
Not with us, you couldn't. That sounds brutal, but I know you want the truth. Our men have their experience before we ever hire them. I'm sorry.
How does a fellow get that experience?
Well, some of them own their own planes, barnstorming, stuff like that. Others go to aviation school.
Suppose a fellow can't afford to go to an aviation school and he doesn't have his own plane.
Well, you got me there.
You've got me, too.
What's the matter?
I just remembered something. Once when I was a kid, Dad told me that someday he'd buy me a plane, a real plane. Now he's keeping his promise.
Are you really going to buy a plane with it, Doug?
You bet your sweet life I am. I'm going to buy a plane. I'm going to fly from one end of this country to the other. I'm going to get more cockeyed experience than any man who ever applied for a job as pilot.
You mean you're going to barnstorm?
And how? I'll show 'em.
Here, take this and let me join you.
Nothing doing. This'll buy me a swell plane. You stick to your job. I may have to fall back on you one of these days.
Here's the goal toward which Doug has worked steadily from the time when he was 17, and of which he's dreamed since he was a child. Antiquated, underpowered, badly in need of repairs, but at least it's a plane.
How much?
I couldn't possibly let you have it for less than $1,200.
Sorry, I've only got 800.
Sold.
With that plane, Doug sets out to get those precious hours in the air.
Flight a day, $1. See your hometown from the air.
hold still now. Hey, buddy, step aside, will you? Yeah, thanks. All right, now hold it. I got it. Come on.
Thank you.
Say, aren't you going to take a ride?
What, isn't that great? Ah.
Maybe you'd like the propeller for a souvenir.
Oh, no, thank you. Come on.
Let's go. Gee, I'm glad to see you, kid.
Same here, Doug.
So this is why you wanted my route before I left.
No. Got too cold in New York. I wanted to get back to San Diego, and all of a sudden I remembered just about where you'd be. So here I am. I sort of hitchhiked most of the way.
What became of your dough?
Oh, that? I bought a swell ring with it. A diamond. Gee, it was a beauty.
What do you mean was? Where is it?
But she wouldn't give it back to me. But don't worry, I'll get it.
Nothing like a college education. And now what are you figuring on doing?
Well, I thought maybe I could be your assistant.
You've got about as much chance of being my assistant as you have of getting that ring back.
Now, look, Doug. I want to fly, and I'm going to fly. The only question is, do I fly with you or somebody else?
Do you mean that?
Every word of it.
All right. You can fly with me.
Two brothers, both carried away with their love of aviation and their dreams of the future. Doug, still fighting grimly for those hours in the air. Henry not knowing exactly what his aim might be, but both bound and determined that by the time they returned to San Diego, they should have weathered every storm and have come through safely. Trying to make expenses by flying passengers, there were many days when they hardly knew where the next meal was coming from. Sleeping in their little pup tent spread under a wing of the plane, they knew the hardships and privations of the pioneers who had traveled those trails before them. What a strange contrast. An airplane, by means of which they could cover as many miles in one day as those same pioneers did in many months. A machine typical of the fast-moving era in which they lived. Yet, through sheer lack of funds, they knew hunger, cold, and bitter disappointment. And those things told on the two lads in different ways. To Doug, they offered a further incentive. They were a challenge which must be accepted. To Henry, they became drudgery. And so, each in his own way, having gained experience as wide as the continent they'd spanned, Doug and Henry returned to San Diego and the future.
Gee, that was a close one.
You said it. Hereafter, I do all my flying with pencil and paper and from behind a big, comfortable desk.
You mean to say you're really cured?
Yeah, man. From now on, I don't care how high in the air I go, as long as I have 1 foot on the ground.
You've done a very remarkable job here, Doug.
But?
Well, conditions have changed again. The airlines are now carrying over 1 million passengers a year, and the qualifications are necessarily tougher.
You mean to tell me that after I got all those hours, after a year of barnstorming, I'm still not qualified?
I feel just as bad about it as you do. But even though you have the hours, the companies are now taking only college graduates or servicemen with the equivalent education.
But a lot of good pilots didn't have a college education.
Oh, there are exceptions, of course. As a matter of fact, I don't think that Lindbergh did.
Well, he landed a good job with the airlines.
Well, after all, he made a very remarkable flight. Tell you what I'll do. I'll get you a job in the shops.
Welding?
Yes.
That's what I was afraid of. Thanks just the same, but what I want to do is fly.
Don't get discouraged. They turn down a lot of ambitious kids in there. If I were you, I'd go out and get some flying experience, and then come back.
Thanks.
That's it. That's the answer to his problem. Why hadn't he thought of that before? One outstanding thing like a flight to Ireland in that old crate of his, and he'd prove his flying ability. The airlines would have to recognize him and give him that pilot's job that it seems fate has kept from him. Obsessed with his big idea of spanning the Atlantic, again Doug knows nothing but work, hard, grueling work. Work to earn money to buy the parts he needs for his beloved plane. New wing coverings have to be installed and carefully covered with aluminum paint. A complete new motor, larger wheels are necessary. It takes money to buy all these things, but still the work goes on. And careful indeed must those preparations be, because the oceans of the world have taken their toll. Sir Charles Kingsford Smith has disappeared in the Indian Ocean, and only the Pacific knows the secret of Amelia Earhart, foremost woman flyer of the world. But in the meantime, Commander Frank Hawks, who has cheated death a dozen times, only to lose his life later in the cause of aviation, and Colonel Roscoe Turner, whose feats in his bullet-like plane have amazed the entire world, shuttle back and forth across the continent. A 9-year-old plane may not have the grace and beauty of a modern ship, but if a young man puts his heart and a prayer into every part, it will surely make that trip to Ireland. Those extra gas tanks are the final step in preparation. That 50-gallon tank is the one which so obstructs his vision and makes it necessary for him to turn his plane to see ahead. Doug realizes that if flying conditions are perfect for Hughes, they must be perfect for him. And thus he can capitalize on the Hughes research of weather conditions. And so, with high hope in his heart, he goes to his brother.
Ireland? Where'd you ever get an idea like that? It's silly.
I'll be the judge of that. All I want to borrow is enough to cover my actual expenses.
But what's the rush?
Flying conditions are perfect now. If I don't go soon, I'll have to wait till next year.
Listen, Doug, you know I'd do anything in the world for you, but a thing like this is pure suicide. Let me show you. I'll prove it to you. With your new tanks, you say you can carry about 325 gallons of gas.
Yeah.
325 gallons, 6 pounds to a gallon. That's 1,950 pounds. Now, 20 gallons of oil at 7.5 pounds to a gallon, that's 150 pounds. 150 pounds plus 1,950 pounds equals 2,100 pounds. Then 1,600 pounds for your plane totals exactly 3,700 pounds.
You're wrong. You forgot I weigh 125 pounds.
Here, look at this. 3,700 pounds. Why, you'd be overloaded 55%.
Well, that's a lot of hooey. Just loan me enough to carry me through, and I'll prove this flying on paper is all wet.
Now, look, Doug, be reasonable. Why, you couldn't even get a permit to fly that jalopy to New York.
If I can, will you loan me the dough?
Sure will.
Get out your checkbook.
How much get? This yours?
I guess it came off.
I'm sorry, Doug, but you'll have to do a lot more work on this plane before I can let you take it off the ground.
But I know it'll do everything I've said it would.
After you take out some of those tanks so you can see where you're going, come around again. Of course, you might not have enough gas to reach Ireland,
What
but...
made you say that?
Oh, I don't know. Just had a crazy idea you might want to fly the Atlantic.
How'd he take it?
You were right. With a load like that, it'd be suicide to try and take that ship off the ground.
Hello, Doug. I was just talking to Mr. Alden about...
Yeah, I know.
Hello, Doug.
Hello, Tim. How much do I owe you?
$8, Doug, but there's no hurry.
Oh, no, I always pay my debts when I do.
Thanks, Doug.
Say, now that we're even, would you trust me with another load of gas?
Sure thing. Let's see, that tank of yours holds about 100 gallons, doesn't it?
Well, it used to, but I put in a couple more tanks, and I carry 320 now.
320. 320 gallons. Look, the name is Robinson, not Rockefeller. 320 gallons of gas.
Please, Jim, this is important. I didn't want to tell anybody, but I'm flying nonstop to New York.
All right, I won't tell anybody either. How are you going to get back?
I'll worry about that when I get there. I got friends in the East. Oh, come on, Jim. I'll even take the automobile gas.
You're daffy. Automobile gas. Why, you'll kill yourself.
Well, if I do, I won't owe you as much as if I took aviation gas.
All right, kid. You win.
Gee, thanks, Jim. Hey, this is aviation gas.
I know it. 320 gallons of gas.
Good luck, kid!
320 gallons.
And just 27 hours later, running out of gas, Doug flies over New York City looking for a place to land where perhaps he can avoid the search that he knows is on. They said he'd never make it, that he couldn't even get off the ground. Well, here's the answer. San Diego to New York non-stop. And now it's down to Roosevelt Field and whatever lies ahead.
What's the matter? What's going on here?
That's Howard Hughes. He just took off from Floyd Bennett Field.
He's on his way to Paris.
NX9243. I guess this is it, all right.
He sure had his nerve with him.
Nice of him not to try to hide out on us.
Get low of those gasoline tanks. He's got no vision at all.
Hey, what's going on here?
This your plane?
Yeah, what are you guys doing?
She's grounded, buddy.
Hey, wait a minute. You can't do that.
Sorry, son, but we have our orders by wire from the West Coast.
But this ship's in perfect condition. There's nothing wrong with a plane that'll fly nonstop from Los Angeles to New York in 27 hours.
You were just lucky.
Hey! Are you the crazy guy that flew nonstop from Los Angeles in a 10-year-old crate?
Yeah, I'm the guy, all right. But where do you get the 10-year-old stuff? It's only 9.
Hold still for a picture, will you?
After all, Henry, he's got to learn his lesson sometime. I grounded him, and he violated my orders and flew the plane east. As far as I'm concerned, he stays grounded.
But listen, Mr. Alden, the reason you grounded him was that, according to engineering data, we both felt the plane wouldn't fly. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Now, it's my understanding that a test flight can be accepted in place of engineering data. Am I correct?
In the true sense of the word, he hasn't violated a single regulation. But it's a personal thing with me. I like Doug. And for his own good, I don't want him flying across any ocean in that crate.
All right, I guarantee you won't. I'll get him on the phone right now and tell him that you'll rescind the order if he'll fly back to San Diego. I'll wire him the dough for gas, and if I hear him say one word about Ireland, the deal's off. Come on, how about it?
Call him up. And when he gets back here, will he catch it?
Hello, operator. Get me long distance, please.
Have you seen that dope from San Diego?
You mean the bailing wire specialist?
Yeah.
He's over there sitting down by his aeroplane, brooding.
You know, he's been brooding for 2 days. Funny thing, I never see that guy eat anything.
Hey, kid, there's a long-distance call for you.
Thanks. Where'd I go?
In the front office.
Hello.
Hello, Doug. I've just been reading the newspapers. Looks like you're in a jam.
If you've called me up to give me the razz, you can save your breath.
Now listen, you big lug. Joe Alden's just agreed to lift the ban, provided you fly back to San Diego. And I'm wiring you the money for your expenses.
If you think I've come this far in order to fly back to San Diego, you've got another thing coming.
I can't hear you very well, but that's swell. See you tomorrow then, all right?
You must be crazy. I said I'm not coming back to San Diego. Can you hear me?
Oh, certainly I can hear you. We'll make it lunch then. Will you have lunch with us?
I'd be glad to.
Oh, that's fine. See you tomorrow. And Doug, good luck.
Hello? Hello? Thanks, kid.
How many?
10 gallons.
10? What are you trying to do, wean it?
Oh, I just want enough to get over to Floyd Bennett Field. I couldn't get off this field with a full load.
Well, I wonder if you can get off with 10. Everything under control?
All set to go. You can pull the plug.
What makes you think that crate's gonna hold up till you get to California?
Why, it's better. I promised to meet a guy there for lunch.
Hey, you think you'll make it? That's what I think.
10 to 1 he doesn't make it.
I'll take that bet. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Only a sap would try to take off the load like that. He's a cinch to crash.
Heading out to sea.
He's lost his direction already.
And so at last the great moment has come. It's goodbye, New York. Goodbye, America. Those earthlings on the ground below may have their fears, but Doug doesn't know the meaning of the word. And with good reason, too. Hadn't he literally built this plane himself? Didn't he know every nut and bolt, every wire and strut, every pulsing throb of that motor, almost as well as he knew his own heartbeats? They wanted an unusual flight, did they? Okay, he'd show them that a real flyer could take what they called a $900 crate across the angriest stretch of ocean on the globe. Ireland lies 1,900 miles straight ahead. Let's go. 14 hours quickly pass as Doug flies straight ahead toward Ireland. Those months of hard work are being rewarded now as the tiny plane drones on through the night. Every part responds to the pilot's slightest touch, and Doug knows his work has been well done. Ireland still remains the goal. And so the long night passes and dawn finds Doug flying straight ahead on his course. The rain from those leaden skies carries a threat of high winds and sleet and danger, and preys on the mind of the courageous young man so alone above the tossing Atlantic. His mind races, and Doug wonders what sort of a crazy stunt he's attempted. Already he's defied one order in flying to New York, but in taking off for Ireland, he's done the unforgivable. Perhaps they'll ground him, take away that precious license to fly for 6 months, a year, 5. Should he turn back to New York now, give up all those cherished plans? Yes, that's the thing to do. Turn back while there's gas enough. That plane wheels, all the bright dreams of the future which had been his for so long seem to pass into oblivion. And then shortly after making that momentous decision high up in the sky, fate, the unpredictable, steps in. A tiny leak has allowed a thin trickle of gasoline to accumulate on the floor. Fumes from that gasoline are quickly overcoming Doug in that tightly closed cabin, even though he doesn't know it. In fact, his plane is now virtually a floating bomb, with a pilot whose senses are each moment becoming more drugged. For that flaming exhaust reaches out hungrily beneath the floor of the cabin where the gasoline sloshes about. One spark, one tiny spark from that exhaust, and it'll be the end. A sudden jolt from the almost pilotless plane, and Doug is aroused, at least enough to know that he was nearly asleep high above the Atlantic. What he needs is a breath of fresh air. Slowly reviving with the aid of that cold stream of air from the opened window, Doug at last realizes his desperate predicament. Gasoline leaking into the cabin, the deadly flame of that exhaust a few inches away from the gas, lightning adding to the danger. Here's a situation that calls for all the knowledge of aviation that he's learned through the years. If he can tilt his plane just enough, he may be able to get rid of that gas without danger from the exhaust. With his plane held at that angle, it's but the work of a moment to dispel the immediate danger of the gas, and it falls harmlessly to the sea below. The mortal threat in that flaming exhaust is gone, and with that solution, another problem arises. Doug is high above the Atlantic, closer to Ireland than he is to New York. A hasty calculation, and he knows how much gasoline is left in those tanks. Not enough to get back to New York. So there's no equivocation now. The decision has been taken out of his hands, and once more, Doug Corrigan brings his plane about with Ireland straight ahead. It's going to be touch and go from here to the little spot of land in the North Atlantic, which is his goal. But wait a minute, more trouble. This time, however, it's of a minor nature, and the familiar piece of wire and the trusty pliers once again turn the trick. And now Doug gives her all the gas she'll take and plunges on ahead, unaware of the fact that half the world is searching for him.
San Diego calling Salt Lake. Have you seen NX 9243?
Salt Lake to San Diego. No sign of NX 9243.
Kansas City calling Cincinnati. NX 9243 long overdue in San Diego.
Checking on NX 9243.
New York calling ships at sea. Possibility NX 9243. American plane may be crossing Atlantic. Anyone seeing plane, report.
Hramuch. Ihri glavenich, hrami glasnic, akraklababavochnic, ihri plivechnic, Douglas Corrigan. Uhri glavinich, ihri klamachnic, agrami glababavochnic, ihri glechnic, New York.
New York calling Baldonnel Airport, Dublin, Ireland. New York calling Baldonnel. Have you seen American plane NX 9243?
Baldonnel Island calling New York. No sign here of NX 9243.
After 28 hours over the sea, could anything be more welcome right now than the sight of solid earth below? And there, far below, through the clouds, Ireland lies. The little fragment of green in the North Atlantic called the Emerald Isle.
Strange plane sighted north of here. Flying too high for identification. I'll report back any further development. Wait a minute. Let's see what we have here.
Are you NX 9243 out of New York?
Yes, sir.
Call the ambassador immediately.
I will that, sir. I never heard of this field before. I noticed your markings at Baldonnel.
That's right. Baldonnel Airport, Dublin, Ireland.
Ireland? My gosh, I must have made a mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doug has made the circle of the field. He's coming down the runway. His wheels are touching the ground in a perfect three-point landing, and Douglas Corrigan is home. And has this crowd gone wild? Now they can't refuse to give him that job that he's wanted for so long. At last, Doug Corrigan will be a transport pilot.
I don't want to be vice president of your company. Told you I want to be a pilot and won't take anything less.
Now, Doug, let's be reasonable. We'll make you vice president and chief pilot in charge of air operations.
I don't want to be vice president or chief pilot. Just want to be a pilot, an ordinary pilot.
That's impossible.
Why, have you got some new rules since I left?
No, not exactly. The truth of the matter is, our passengers have got to have confidence in their pilots. When they want to go to Cheyenne, they want to go to Cheyenne, not Alaska or Maine or Hong Kong.